pretend to stretch," I whisper, dropping into a forward bend and feeling the familiar burn in the backs of my calves. Mike follows my lead, his head close to mine. "You see anything new?" he asks. I peer up at the Oldies, our nickname for our neighbors. "It's hard to see from here," I admit, straining my eyes across the street. "Ms. Atwood's nose looks pointier and slightly crooked, kind of like a cartoon witch's. You see it?" Mike peers up from his stretch. "Noted," he says. "Check out Dr. Smith. He's swinging that watering can around way easier than he was last week. It's like his shoulder doesn't bother him anymore." "Noted." I stand upright and stretch out my quads, signaling for Mike to do the same. I hear Billy scratching at the window, whimpering to get out and join us. "Sorry, bud. It's too hot." Billy stops scratching, as if he somehow understands, his eyes looking even sadder than normal. Sweet, brown eyes that have lost their sparkle since Dad died last year. It was Dad who first suspected that something was up with the Oldies. "They're kind of creepy, don't you think?" He'd ask Mom and me at dinner. "It's kind of like they never age. They're old, but not old enough, if you know what I mean." "Leave those people alone, James," Mom would plead. "No one likes living across the street from a nosy cop." "What about a nosy daughter?" At this, he would smile and ruffle my hair. Together, we'd laugh and continue to exchange our theories about the Oldies, despite Mom's disapproval. In the beginning, we'd suggest the easy-to-explain stuff: Botox, titanium limbs, plastic surgery. It wasn't until later that the more supernatural guesses started to creep in: ghosts, fountains of youth, witchcraft. "You two need to lay off the scary movies," Mom would tell us, rolling her eyes. At this, Dad would wink at me and whisper, "We'll show her." I think about Mom's comment as Mike and I continue to stare across the street. "Maybe they're aliens," I say. Mike shoots me a look. "That's wild." "What's wild about it?" I press. "You said so yourself. They're too weird to be human." "I didn't mean that literally. Maybe they're on some kind of medication. Don't you watch commercials? Prescriptions have some pretty major side effects." I shake my head. "No, this isn't from a pill. This is something bigger." Mike's always trying to bring science into things. Where I see ghosts and ghouls, Mike sees medicine and surgeries gone wrong. That's why I didn't want to investigate with him at first. Actually, I didn't want to investigate at all after Dad passed. For months, it was impossible to laugh or run or speculate. I couldn't think about the Oldies. That was a Dad thing. And Dad was gone. Spying felt pointless without him, and far too painful. It wasn't until 2 weeks ago that I allowed myself to wonder once again about my neighbors, and that was only because Mike brought it up. "Miss B looks different again," he told me one day on the walk to school. "And Miss Atwood's limping kind of funny." His usually smug face looked hopeful, his eyes genuine from underneath the brim of his signature Yankees hat. And all at once, it was as if a switch flipped in my brain. Dad would want this, I realized. Dad would want us to investigate. Just the thought made me feel close to him again, as if he wasn't really gone. I study Mike now as his shoulders stiffen. "What's up?" I ask. "I don't see Mr. Brown," he says, narrowing his eyes as he scans our street. Wait, you're right. Where is he?" "Make a note," Mike says. "We should go, though. They're starting to look at us." A chill seeps into my limbs despite the early June heat. I feel the weight of my neighbor's eyes without even looking at them. Mike lowers the brim of his hat. "Pond or no pond?"